Kaikara, France. Big fight for you next week in Columbus, Ohio, of all places in the world. Askar Askarov, everyone knows this fight is going down now. #1 contenders fight. First of all, how are things tracking?
Yeah, things are good. I haven't really stopped training since that last fight, which is probably a good thing for me, especially being known for blowing up after fights. And I'm human. I like to eat. I like to enjoy myself. But for this fight, I pretty much keep my weight down. I knew this was going to happen pretty much the week after my fight against Cody. So that was always in the back of my mind. I knew, I had a little break over Christmas. I went to Hawaii with the family. My wife and son were there with me. And then after 10 days in MIQ, that same day I got out, I was back in the gym. So, I've had a few months to prepare for Askar Askarov. Tough matchup, he presents a lot of, not dangers, but stuff that we need to be aware of. But, I'm more than capable of taking this guy out. And I didn't get the title shot after Cody, but after this fight, they can't deny me, fighting a top guy in the top 5 and making a statement. That's what I need to do to get this title shot. So obviously I'm not looking past him, but that's how I see things working out. So I'm excited to fight in front of a crowd. Columbus, Ohio, I don't know where it is, but I know it's going to be cold. Might be even snowing, so I'll need to make sure I pack all my jackets and pants for that one. So no, it should be good. It's always fun fighting in front of new crowds, establishing yourself, as getting a new fan base on board, and what better way to do that than go out and get a highlight reel for knockout. So that's what I plan on doing.
I know you were obviously you were in the States after that last fight, so you could have filled in if someone needed to. That obviously didn't happen, but the booking for Askar came out pretty quickly after the Corey fight. Were there conversations already before the Corey fight that Cody, before the Cody fight that this could be the pathway, or was it just straight after that fight that they came to you with Askar?
Yeah, it was. I guess they weren't really giving me anything. I was saying to Dana after the fight happened, I ran up to him. I said, "This is my title shot," and he just said, "We'll talk." So I guess the UFC are very good at picking their words. And then I messaged Dana. I got his number and I messaged him saying, "Hey, if you guys need a fill-in or someone pulls out, I'm your guy." And he said, "I love that shit. I love when fighters step up and they want to fight." So it didn't work out, but it was good to just show that I'm ready to step up if they need me. So it didn't happen, but this fight's been booked, and then it's on my birthday as well. So I guess what way to get a present for yourself than get a title shot. So now there's a bit of I guess the way the fight game works. So if I did wait, and Figueiredo's been calling me out, maybe I could have got the title shot that way. But I know the UFC love for you to just go out and take it. If you want it, you got to go get it. So that's kind of my mindset. I'm not going to wait around and I kind of hope for people to lose and then kind of get my title shot that way. It's like I'd rather fight my way, make some money, and like I said before, no one will deny me after this that I'm the #1 contender. So that's what's motivated me. It's kind of fuels me to know that it's right in front of me. And also with Cody, where he is in his career, obviously me making it look easy, people were saying, or a lot of people were saying, he's on his way out, he's got no chin, he's not durable like he used to be. But you got to give me credit as well, where I landed the cleaner shots, just accurate, and I capitalized when I had him hurt. So I guess when people see something look too easy, they just kind of discard the person that's actually doing it. So for this fight, there's going to be no excuses. When I put it on him and I make it look easy, then they're going to be surprised, and that's when they'll start taking me serious as the future champ.
When you look at Askar Askarov, since he's joined the UFC, all decisions, I believe. He had that one draw with Brandon Moreno, which was pretty sketchy decision from memory. He's sort of hyped up as this big wrestler, big sort of flyweight Khabib sort of guy. Have you seen that from him?
I've seen a lot of decisions. which to be a UFC champion, you got to be exciting. And if you're just getting through fights and going all the rounds, he has been dominant, but people want to see finishes. People want to be entertained, and if you're not doing that, the UFC don't want you as a champion. So I've got to go out there and make a statement, and to do that with a guy that has a style like a wrestling style, which is more grindy and trying to wear you down. I got to neutralize that straight away. This camp we've been doing a lot of wrestling, working with Brum, Commonwealth wrestler, who's off to Birmingham this year to compete for wrestling. So he's been in my camp, pushing me, keeping me honest, as well as so many of the other guys that we train with that keep me on my toes and make sure that my grappling and my wrestling is on point. And then we're City Kickboxing, so once we neutralize that side of mixed martial arts, we'll find a target and we'll put them away. So I'm confident in my skill set, and I'm confident in my team and the plan that we put together. For my last fight, Eugene wasn't there, which is the first time in my camp, in my UFC career, that he's never not been in my corner. So for me, that was a big confidence booster, knowing that I can still put on performances like I did without having my head coach there. Because I knew in the camp that we did a lot of work preparing for Cody. So I just had to back myself and know that I can show up when I need it. But then for this fight, he's in London for Dan, but then him and Twist, Eugene and Twist are flying straight to Ohio after the fight. So, it's great. It's going to be great having them there. Frank's going to be flying in from Vegas. Geordie's going to be there. So it's going to be awesome to have my normal setup that I usually have in fight week, where all my coaches are there, my whole team, just whatever makes me feel comfortable. So they're all going to be there. And I think that's going to make the difference, just giving me that kind of reassurance that everything's on track, and we're exactly where we need to be. So I can't really fault this camp. It's been a great one, especially with all this COVID going around New Zealand at the moment. I was lucky enough, not lucky enough, but I caught it early last year in Vegas. So when I came back to New Zealand, I trained all the way through because I didn't have any symptoms. I didn't have COVID, and everyone else was kind of in and out of the gym. But it was kind of good. That first wave hit the gym, and a few of the guys got it, but some of them didn't. So I could still train with them, and then they ended up catching it. And the rest of the guys that did their isolation came back to the gym. So we were able to still put a quality camp together.
Good to know that COVID didn't affect you too much in here.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I guess the last 2 years have taught me is just adapt and work around it. No excuses. Dan's been a big, inspiration. And 2 fights ago, his camp was pretty much in his garage. Had visa issues, had to fly out the day before the fight, pretty much. Flew over, didn't sleep, was jet lagged, made the weight, and then put on a performance and got the win. So when he was in my corner for my fight in Vegas, having been in a lockdown for 4 months, I was like, man, you don't know what I've been through. Like when I was squaring off against Cody, I was like, how can you talk about mindset and him being the elite mindset? It's like, you don't know what I've just come from. You've had a camp where you've been able to go anywhere you want. You could have brought in any training partners you needed for this, and I've been doing this pretty much out of my garage and a small bubble that I had at the time. So when you get to fight week, it's like, now it's the fun part. All that work and all these stuff that we couldn't control eventually worked these things out, and now we're here now, and use it as fuel. So I knew that fight I wasn't losing because I just had so much more to kind of prove. So for this fight, I've had a normal kind of camp, and based back at City Kickboxing. A lot of the boys are back from overseas now, and it's a big week, big month for the gym. But I can't wait to get in there and you put on a show for everyone.
A little bit sort of retrospective here, but I remember when Cody first announced he was going down to flyweight, you straight away said you wanted that fight.
Yeah.
How satisfying was it to finally get it and do what you did to him?
Yeah, definitely. It was a massive milestone in my career, biggest win of my career. And just like, I knew that anytime someone's thinking about dropping weight down to flyweight, especially bantamweights, it's just a different ballpark. Like, you can't expect to be the same fighter, because me being a bantamweight early on in my career, you know, I could take the bigger shots, and I guess I was more durable. At flyweight, you got to be a lot more, you're just a lot more smarter. You can't really take those same shots, and speed kills at this weight. So that's something that you can't just change over a few months. It takes a lot of time to kind of adapt to that. And this will be my 9th UFC appearance, and when I knocked Cody out and all I heard was crickets, and like everyone's just in shock, the best feeling ever, just because he talked a lot that week, and I just was going to leave my work to the talking. So when it all works out, and you get a bonus, and pretty much silence all the critics, it's pretty satisfying.
How has this camp been? I know you talked about it being quite good with, you know, all the boys being around, but you haven't had your coaches here. Is it that big a difference not having someone like Andre here to take you through the wrestling?
No, that's the thing. We've got so many guys with knowledge that we can pick from. Mark Timms has been a big help in my stand-up this camp. He's one of the, I guess, veterans in kickboxing at the gym, and I work well with him, and he's very detailed in his pad holding, and gives you what you need to hear. So it's been good working with him, as well as we have a system that we use at City Kickboxing, and everyone kind of knows it. So even though the coaches aren't here, we still stick to that same schedule. So it kind of runs itself. That we don't need the coaches to be there, watching every session. We know what's expected of us, and where I'm at in my career. I know where my body needs to be, and physically, emotionally and mentally, I know how high my standards need to be. I know what the level is, and for this camp, we've been ticking off all the boxes, pulling in all these different different tactics and I guess techniques from different coaches, as well as working with my other coaches outside of City, Sons, my strength coach, Dave Wood, our breathing coach, David Neath, the sports psychologist. It's such a big combination, and then the people that keep my body in check, Gabe, the physio, Brad, the chiro. It's just awesome to, have all these people behind me to help me, with the end goal, and they've been here right from the start, which is awesome. So now you're seeing that in my fights, where it's like, I haven't just been in a 10-week fight camp, I've been in a 10-year fight camp, and now it's all kind of paying off, and that self-belief is there now, where I've found my feet in the UFC. I'm starting to get finishes, 2 first-round finishes, and that's what's it's exciting, because I've seen it. When I look at myself in the mirror, I'm not the same person a few years ago. Now obviously having a son and a family to support just gives you purpose, and refocuses where you need to be, and I guess it just makes you the best version of yourself. So bigger fights means more pressure, but I welcome it. That's why I said I want to see the best Askar Askarov. I want to see him wrestle, because I want to test myself, and then once I get past that test, I want to be fighting for the title this year, definitely.
I think a fight between yourself and Deiveson Figueiredo is one everyone could probably get behind.
Yeah, exactly. Who wouldn't want to see that? Not just being a flyweight fan, but just a fight fan. 2 guys that throw bombs and want to knock each other out. He fights off a lot of emotion, and his team is a team that we don't like. Henry Cejudo and Eric, Coach Eric, just guys that I know. It would just be a fun fight, and a definitely winnable fight for me. So obviously this will all happen in good time. I'm not going to force it. One thing at a time, and when it does happen, I'll be more than ready. So March 26th, March 27th in New Zealand on a Sunday. So everyone watching back home, if you saw my last fight, you just expect fireworks, expect bad intentions, violence, and highlight reel knockouts. So don't blink.
Were you a little disappointed this didn't get main event status when the main event fell off this card?
Yeah, I thought they would have. People know what the real main event is on this card, and that's me and Askar's fight, especially being the #1 contender. But the UFC play to their strengths. They know that everyone's going to turn up for a heavyweight fight as the main event. That's just stock standard, that they'll do that anywhere. So we're on the main card. We're on ESPN, which is going to be free to air, so anyone can watch it. They won't need to pay for it, which is probably better. More people will be tuning in, which means more eyes on me. So when I get this win, people will start to more people will recognize me. People outside of my regular fan base will start to catch on. But New Zealand and Australia is definitely blowing up. It's about time the UFC come back here. Now our borders are opening up and we can come back home without isolating. That's another step closer to keep bringing the UFC back to New Zealand, back to Spark Arena. Hopefully it happens this year. Even if it doesn't happen and it goes to Australia end of this year, that would be just as good fighting over there. So it's about time. People have missed it. People have missed live events, and it's going to be crazy when there's a live event back here. People are been just watching it overseas and supporting, obviously, but it's a different. It's all different when it's in your own backyard. So I can't wait for that to happen. I know it will, and how I see it happening, I'm going to knock out Askar Askarov, and then I'll be fighting Figueiredo or whoever's the title holder at that time, and then I'll bring that title fight to New Zealand or Australia. So it's gonna be a beauty.
Are you able to fly straight back this time around?
Yeah. So I don't have to do any quarantine. I fly back the day after the fight, and then don't have to isolate or anything. So
Geez, back to normal.
yeah, it's pretty. It's been a long 2 years of doing this. 3 times in MIQ. I know I haven't done it as bad as the rest of the guys, but it definitely sucks. But now that we can do it without isolating, where we're just on an even playing field like everyone else. They're not sacrificing time away from their families and friends. Americans can go fight and then be home the next day. So now we can actually do that, and I'm happy.
Sweet. And just lastly, we do have a couple of fan questions.
Yep.
If you just want to read those and answer them.
So this is. Should I read the name of the person?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is
Backstification, I believe it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Given Askar's Sambo background, did Dan Hooker have any advice for you after his fight against Makhachev? Dan's been in my camp this whole time. We've been pushing each other together. Stuff that I could, just take from Dan's fight. Yeah, definitely. Just early on with Sambo guys, they extensively work catching kicks. So, I won't be kicking too early in the fight, especially when we're still dry and not sweating. Just stuff like that. Moving, not staying in front of people, in front of my opponent. And, just kind of being aware of when I'm at danger of getting taken down. Just stuff like that. So, stuff that I could take away from Dan's fight, don't get caught up too early in the fight, let it build slowly, and then see what he's bringing to the table before I kind of commit to things. Stuff that, there's more to this game plan, but just stuff that we can work on. Second question, Christian from Auckland, who is your mightiest two-punter? Okay. Well, my iwi is Waikato and Ngāti Tūwhari Toa and Ngāti Kahununu and Te Arawa. So I guess I pull from all of my ancestors and all my tūpuna from before me. Now when I fight, I really kind of tap into that and harness it. That's fuel that is inside all of us, especially being Māori. I'm just a modern day version of that. When I step into that ring, I really tap into that warrior mindset, and when I step in there, I'm not Kai. I'm the warrior version of myself, and it's like a switch for me. So I channel that, and when I get in there and I hear my walkout music, Poirier playing, it just fuels me, and I just think of everyone back home supporting me and watching, and I just want to do them proud. So. Yeah, that's, I guess, close to what you're trying to ask in your question. But no, I appreciate all the support from back home and everyone that tunes in and watches the fights. We really do feel that overseas when we carry the flag. So yeah. Appreciate it.
You've committed to Poirier as just your full-time walkout track now?
Well, as of now, yeah, it's a good. I want to have something that kind of makes me feel comfortable. You know, walking out to such a big event, wherever it is in the world, having a bit of home with me as I walk out, just kind of brings me back to the present. I guess stuff that I work with Dave Wood and David Neef. You know, we're all about staying in the moment and do what feels natural and do what feels comfortable. So for me, I don't like being too hyped up for a fight, you know, not walking out to any Creed or like some Never Back Down soundtrack, but just something that makes me feel good, and I know everyone back home is jamming out to it. So yeah, that's the song for now.
Sweet, man. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for your time, and hope all goes well on your birthday.
Appreciate it, bro. Thank you.